What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about OD Knock. Obviously, shown off in quite a good amount of detail last night. I live tweeted it, but I wasn't able to, make a video until right now, so sorry about that. But what I want to do, I want to go over just my general reaction to it and kind of clean up some of the stuff that we've seen online and some of the details about this game, at the time when Hideo Kojima was talking about it, and then kind of afterwards. So I want to start there, kind of the cleanup territory, and then I'll talk about the trailer itself. I mean, the short answer, the short response is it looks so freaking unbelievably good. It's a day one buy whenever in God's name we get this game. But that is kind of part of it, right? So when do we get this game? So Hideo Kojima was talking after they showed the trailer. He made some jokes about Phil, is going to get mad at me, if he goes too in depth. He did mention he can't say that it's 50 or 60 or, that kind of percentage of the way done, just because it kind of doesn't work like that. And it just goes into what in God's name is this man crafting behind the scenes, because, it feels like it could be like a PT spiritual successor thing, which we'll talk about. But, you have the Xbox influence, right? And what is that influence? Well, Phil kind of said it. One of the main things that they're doing is actually helping kind of on the back end with Unreal Engine support, right? So this is Unreal Engine, which is not Death Stranding has not been doing that. So Microsoft is helping, in that department. Remember this, the idea years ago was that this is somehow connected to the cloud, where it's just such a different type of game that you really wouldn't be able to do it without Microsoft or Xbox's help. And we've yet to see what that actually will mean or will do. Maybe some sort of audience kind of feedback. Remember there was early video, I wouldn't say a rumor, but there was an early video leak of this game, and it had to do with we could control the scares. I think it was Margaret Qualley just doing a stand-in type thing, and people could do things in game, and so you're moving around with her, and then all of a sudden a random event could happen in the world because it's caused from somebody kind of watching you, which would connect to the cloud. And I could understand if that is kind of what it is. But going back to the completion percentage, number one, I do find it interesting. He said, even though he said he can't say it's 50%, 60%, because it doesn't really work like that, there has to probably be a reason why he chose those numbers, and I know that's probably reading into it too far, but I'm going to assume he's roughly 50 or 60% of the way through. But here's the thing, that could mean he's done 4 years of work and he's got 4 more. It could also mean he's done 4 years of work and he's got 2 more, because half of the work was done, but the other half can be done in quicker time than the first half. Does that make sense? Workload does not necessarily, I think, in this case, mean the amount of years has to be equal between that. So I would not be shocked if this was a 2027 game. I don't think it's next year. You could start talking about maybe fall of 27, and then you probably have to get into 28, etc. The espionage game that he's doing, and they showed the poster for that, which looks incredible, even though it's so far away. That one seemingly is 2030, 2031, 2032. So that's so far, and then you kind of maybe subtract some years, to get back to OD. So that was one big part of it. Another big part is, okay, well, you have the Xbox influence, right? But is this game going to be Xbox exclusive? So it was made such a big deal of that, and I mean, as it should be, is it's kind of going back and forth. You have Death Stranding, which is more PlayStation, you have this, which is more Xbox, and then you're going back to the Metal Gear kind of successor, and that goes back to PlayStation. So back forth. But for this, one thing that I feel like Phil said it twice. I definitely heard him say it after the trailer. He really stressed the idea of saying gamers everywhere. I think he said the word every was the word that he stressed so heavily. And it's because again, the cloud thing, and you might be able to play this game on your phone for some reason. You might be able to play it on your refrigerator, on your TV. All jokes aside, the idea of probably being able to play this game anywhere, could you twist that and say, oh, that's what he meant, right? Gamers everywhere. Well, I'm a gamer everywhere. I mean, I have an Xbox. Maybe that's a bad example. Say you don't have an Xbox, say you only have a PlayStation. Is that a gamer everywhere that he was talking about? Now, look, everybody can do what they got to do. You know, I like a little bit of console exclusivity in my life, not too much, but hey, if PlayStation wants to do it, Xbox wants to do it, back forth, they're kind of just like ping-ponging Hideo around, you know, where it's an exclusive to PlayStation, Xbox, back forth. I think it's less likely that OD would be an Xbox thing versus like Death Stranding starting as a PlayStation only thing. I mean, that eventually made its way over to Xbox, at least the first game. So I wonder if it would be like a day one everywhere game. And I don't mean like day one Xbox anywhere game. I mean day one anywhere kind of game. And I also wonder about Game Pass. This was pointed out to me, I think, on Twitter. I don't think they've ever once connected the Game Pass logo to this game. And that's that one would be a weird one, right? Because if it is so Xbox exclusive, and we've seen like the Halos, the Gears, the Fables, the Forzas, like all of the, now what do they have in common? They're Xbox first party studios, right? All of those are through Game Pass. So like this, I don't think I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm kind of just going based off memory. I don't think we've ever seen it say like Game Pass on a screen when they're talking about this game. So I wonder if that's just not a thing, which probably does lean into more of the idea that it actually would be on anywhere, not just on Xbox. The only other kind of exterior thing I want to talk about is now it's got the subtitle. So it's OD Knock. And he talked about it, and he talked about, hey, remember Jordan Peele? You all know him. Like, he's still doing something, and he's doing something basically in the OD universe. He's making OD blank, and I'm making OD Knock, and the horror element to it is that word, right? So and this is, I'm paraphrasing, but this is what Kojima's saying, right? Like the knocking on a door, and I think he talked about how that can be scary to him, but the knock is that central kind of horror idea behind this game in particular. But Jordan Peele is doing something else in the OD universe. I think he said he has an idea, and we're gonna do like the game for him. It was something like paraphrased like that, where this maybe again becomes kind of a franchise or just a thing, and he's got an idea. He's maybe like a loose or soft director to it. So pretty interesting. Definitely not, because I always just thought like, he just is bringing in his celebrity friends that he likes to kind of help him out with this game. I guess he's kind of building like some sort of cinematic gaming universe that these people will kind of come up with concepts and then they'll make the game for them, something like that. Pretty cool. As for the game itself, we talked about pretty much everything except for the trailer. I mean, look, there's not too much you can talk about. He did talk about how there's so many hints in the trailer. The issue is, he's such a hard mind to read, right? So it's like, and without kind of knowing like the centralized idea, you can't really read too much into it. Like you can look at the eye, and when she was lighting the candles, there was an eye on the back door as well that I don't think was there originally, so it kind of appeared there. The knock obviously was something that was very scary. You have the baby crying again. Number one, visually unreal. And I didn't really mean to make that pun. I mean, it looks so unbelievably good. And again, we just got Death Stranding 2. It's been a year of a lot of really good-looking games like Mafia, Expedition 33, etc., etc. But this game, I mean, man, like when that card was coming through the door and just seeing Sophia Lillis' like face, like, oh my dear, like it could have been a movie. And I mean, you could probably show people over 55 years old that trailer, and they would say, "Oh, what movie is that?" It's like, and it's not just from the direction, because it kind of looks like a movie. I'm talking about like it just. I mean, you could convince somebody, right, that it looks like that. Beyond that, the Silent Hill thing or PT thing, it's something that has been brought up, and I did not know this, okay? So people feel like they have discovered when they were doing those like blackout words, people do think like PT and all of that fits in, where there was like some sort of an event, and that this game in some kind of loose way is connected to PT, is connected to Silent Hill. And that would be very, very cool. Now, he obviously can't go too far because he doesn't own that IP, right? That's Konami. So I like that idea. And I mean, even, look, when she's lighting the matches and you hear the baby crying and the door and all this stuff, does it remind me of PT? It does. And I think, it's maybe not like the hottest take. It's maybe not like the most original idea out there. But like, is he fulfilling kind of his desires, with these upcoming games. Like, is OD just what PT should have been, right? And he's not allowed to do it anymore, so he goes off and he makes OD. Is that what OD is? Is this espionage game that he's about to make afterwards, is that basically just Metal Gear, the spiritual successor, because he can't do Metal Gear anymore? I really think that kind of is the case. Now, again, you can only play around with that so much because you can't formally, link them up. I think you can get as close to linking them as humanly possible, in the way that he does it. But I'm super impressed. I mean, it's hard to watch that trailer and not get stoked. And it's also like, I don't know, like, I just try to remember, this is the guy who did PT. He is very capable of horror, and he hasn't done horror in a long time, and generally horror is he's very capable. He's always been capable, going back decades, right? But you think about him in so many other different ways that you maybe kind of put that down a couple pedestals, but it's like he's very capable of scaring the living blank out of us. Okay, and I was scared to death of PT. I didn't even want to play the game. It was so scary, or finish the game. So like I just think about that along with, really just the ending of that trailer, right? Where you can see that whatever the frick that thing is behind her, and she's just like shaking in fear. And, you see the cover behind me of, it putting kind of its hands on her face. Like, it obviously is not the most scary thing in the world, kind of watching it behind a screen and stuff, but playing it, oh my dear, I think we're in for an adventure, in that way. So I'm really, really excited. And hey, hopefully we can get this game in the next couple years. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.